Conor McGregor comes back, it should be against MALIGNAGGI. You know what I mean? You don't really need to be against any other form of boxer. You know, I said it in a different interview. You know, he brought Paulie in for camp, right? And he made Paulie do 12 rounds. I've never made my boys who come into camp do 12 rounds. They're not about to be in a 12-round fight. You know what I mean? I know Paulie's a 12-round championship boxer, and he dug in and he gave him that work. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Paulie did say, I was getting tired because he was out of shape. He wasn't in shape. He didn't have no fight to make. He wasn't getting a 7-figure payday in a few weeks, you know what I mean? So when I bring in sparring partners, my sparring partners aren't doing more than 4 rounds each. I do 4 rounds, and that's how we equal our 12 rounds. I don't want you to give me 1 round where you need a rest. You know, you give me 4 hard rounds and I rotate and we move on to the next one. Plus, one fighter cannot mimic your opponent properly, right? So maybe this guy does something, maybe he jabs in a similar way that this guy jabs. Maybe the other person has similar footwork. Maybe the other guy that I'm sparring throws the hooks in the right way or digs in the body the right way or has the right head movement. Each fighter has at least one quality that matches my opponent. So when I put them all together, now it's like a little bit closer to facing the man that I'm about to face on fight night.
I heard of one potential in the grapevine, maybe who somebody could be a next opponent for you. That's the former champion Jessie Vargas. Have you heard that name at all, or is that out of thin blue air?
Well, I haven't heard no names, so you can just keep pulling out as many grapes as you want at that grapevine. But yeah, those are stories.
Back to Paulie. I don't mean to ask you again, but kind of off what he was saying. After you saw Conor in the ring with Floyd, what do you think his chances would be against Paulie? You know, at this point in Paulie's career.
Well, you know, he actually does have a nice arm reach. You know, he understands spacing well. He definitely needs to be more conditioned. That's his main downfall. You know, especially for 12-round boxing. Or, you know, if he fought Paulie, they can negotiate a 10-round boxing match, you know? Maybe Conor's going to be too prideful, and Paulie too, they make it 12 and almost in the same aspect that they did with Floyd. But
is that easy work for Paulie?
Easy work? You know, no, it's not easy work, you know. But if he's in shape and McGregor doesn't learn anything from the boxing lesson he got, then it could possibly be easy work, because by what round did the fight get stopped in?
10.
The 10th?
Yeah.
Yeah, my sister could have whooped his ass in the 10th round. I'm just saying, almost anybody can whoop his ass in the 10th round.
Serious question here. Did it bother you, Vo, that you didn't have that moment? You look at all the transcendent stars, whether it's Oscar, Floyd, Cotto.
Yeah.
They had that big superstar, and you've been clamoring for Floyd for years. Did it bother you that a UFC guy who basically talked his way in, brought his Irish fans, got it, and you were basically left out in the cold?
No, you know, because I know why it happened, you know. Another thing, I was injured. I'm not even in the right shape to manifest that fight. So it just wasn't in the cards, man. You know, I do remember when I was the #1 contender for the WBA world title, and then when he acquired the world title from Marcos Maidana, he did the rematch with Maidana. Then only a few months later, he got elevated to super champ and I got elevated to regular champ. And that's when I fully knew that there's no intentions at all for Floyd Mayweather to face Keith Thurman, because I was in the prime position as a mandatory for the media to talk to Floyd. What about that boy Keith Thurman? You're gonna fight that boy Keith Thurman. Once when he was elevated, even if you would have said, I'm this, I'm that, he would say, but there's none, he don't need to do nothing. He didn't need to acknowledge me, you know. That was a power play, a power move. We know that Floyd was in a power position for many years throughout his career, and he played it well. You know, some people get into places of power and they don't use it. They fight everybody and they fall off the ladder pretty quick, you know. So what's the right thing to do? What's the wrong thing to do? You know, and I also said before that there's 2 ways to become a legend. One way is by beating a legend. The other way is by creating your own legacy. And apparently that's what I have to do at this stage. And luckily we have great champions. We have a lot of great fighters in the welterweight division. that I can compete up against. As long as I stay undefeated in time, my legacy will reveal itself.
We got the heavyweight